Welcome to Criticality Redux, the critical IT OT podcast where we dissect and discuss the most pressing issues in cutting-edge technology. From the sprawling challenges facing the modern enterprise to the intricate cybersecurity demands of our nation's critical infrastructure, we cover it all, or at least we try to. Awesome. Welcome to the fifth episode. Today we've got a few more guests than we had intended, which is fantastic. We're going to be talking about malware as a service overall. And we will start bringing our guests on now. One of my former coworkers, Adam Franks, will be the first person. Aaron Laxon, then John Bates, and then did Riad? You said Riad joined? No, he didn't. Okay, so I guess that's all of us.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Aaron, if you could give a brief introduction real quick.
Sure. I'm Aaron
go.
Lax. I am Singularity Systems and Cybersecurity Insiders owner, CEO, founder. I run two groups, the intelligence community and the Homeland Security group. I also run the KIPPIS Quantum group. I'm a DoD subject matter expert, and I am building in coordination with the X-Tech program a humanoid robotic for the Army.
Fantastic. Mr. Bates, if you wouldn't mind doing a quick intro.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. For most of us, my name's John Bates. I'm I've been working in IT program at the Department of Defense for the last 10 years. I retired from the Army after a 32-year career. And
And Mr. Franks.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adam Franks, and I run a small IT company, which is just me, not IT. And I am kind of the MacGyver of everything. I kind of dabble in some cybersecurity, I dabble in networking, information assurance, supporting my local customers here on site, and also a DoD consultant as well.
Mr. Franks is being super humble. We're about to jump into the wheel of criticality. We're gonna run through the gauntlet. The rules are about to come up. One thing that we're gonna do a little different is we're gonna look at each one of the different topics, and I'm gonna go on to each topic and engage with each of you in sequential order. So y'all are actually gonna have 2 minutes in between to kind of compose yourselves. So instead of being one person that goes through all 16, y'all are gonna each have about five each, and then maybe somebody's gonna have an extra one. And we're gonna try to look at it as what kind of impact is malware as a service gonna have, especially with malware as a service with generative artificial intelligence and machine learning impacting the ramp up. What's it going to play on all these different sectors? So, Miss Moderator, if you wouldn't mind. Okay, awesome. I was just told Riad joined as well. So, hello, sir. So we have a nice full house today. We're about to get started. There we go. Okay, since the wheel is broken, we'll go this way. Can you do a timer and just let me know when a minute's up? All right, so a little bit different. We'll start with the chemical sector, and I guess we'll just go across the different sectors. So starting with chemical, would anybody like to take this and explain the potential that malware as a service could have on this?
Yeah, I'll go. So malware as a service can be utilized to infiltrate the service. So, damn, my dog just jumped at me. Sorry. It can be utilized to infiltrate the services of any chemical provider. Basically, you could be utilizing it in coordination. You can have an agentic system that's hitting that whole company with the multiple types of malicious types of content. You can hit them with social engineering. You can hit them with emails. You can hit them with hell. You can make them call it with the voice modulation. You can do so many different things. You can do deep fakes, video, so many capacities, and then the capacity for that to make changes to what they're working on, or there's so get into the system to see any vital data. There's multiple issues that could occur.
Yeah, that's actually pretty important topic, because I know it, like, not to call anybody out, but like Dow and DuPont and things like that have a huge employee base, and employees being one of the weakest links in any organization, they're now susceptible to huge phishing campaigns where we'd easily be able to create red flags with, poor English structure. These malware as a service phishing kits are creating flawless English phishing campaigns, which means now these people who have access to the OT side of these chemical plants are really susceptible. I mean, like, it's harder to spot red flags now than it ever was. But yeah, you hit on so many topics.
To that, I think in addition to that, Joseph, the increased proliferation of in-cab technology for not only road trucks but other transportation systems, and then the way that even pipelines are controlled, just exponential risk, from a public safety and a national security standpoint.
And
think about transport.
Yeah, we can definitely get to transport's its own topic, so we definitely get to that a little larger.
But going just in the facility side, the ability to maybe relabel a product, so it's not really what you think it is.
Right, exactly.
And with
you could do some
AIs with the vocal capabilities. Somebody could be thinking they're talking to their buddy, and give critical information to allow them to exploit the system just to start with. So talking about it being a very scary topic of user, even the most person with the highest hygiene on their technologies could still fall to thinking they were talking to a buddy.
100%.
100%. Yeah.
And the
jinx.
Yeah. And it's not even so. When this stuff first came out, like Raccoon, I thought these things would be expensive. You can break 2FA pretty easy with these kits, and they're only running like $200 to $500 a month for people who have almost no.
Not just that, you can trick
knowledge.
Public AIs into making them for you quite easily.
Yeah.
Public AI is so insecure.
Or run your own that doesn't have the guardrails.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
On your laptop.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that you don't even have to worry about getting caught. I had just talked to Riad about this before the show started. I use Nut Studio, I use Olama, I use LM Studio, I use a lot of offline sandboxed AI technologies that don't leverage Gemini and things like that, because I like my data where it is on my machine. And that's what I like to teach the younger, not that we're a whole bunch age difference, but the next generation, I'd like them to know that they don't have to have everything in the cloud. They don't have to share everything with third-party organizations. They can have their own systems.
I prefer on-prem always.
Yeah, because I don't want my data held hostage at one point. And, the next year, the next 2 or 3 years, there's going to be nice scalability, but all our data is going to be hostage at one point to the highest bidder. It's going to be ridiculous. We actually, you never gave me the. We're just talking. We're just good. We're just talking. We went over to commercial facilities. I don't know if you guys can read that, but this malware as a service when we get over to commercial facilities, it's pretty scary. Riad, I would like for you to start this one off, if you don't mind, sir. This in commercial facilities, we're talking about stadiums is generally one of the first topics, first locations that people talk about with commercial facilities. But malware as a service, we get into card skimmers and things like that. Where does that? Because where are you located in the world? You're not in the U.S., right?
Yeah, I'm not in the US. I'm Algeria.
Yes. Is this something that you see where you have a lot of malicious, people using technology?
Where I'm located in Algeria, actually, it's not. They don't a lot of cybersecurity and much, The
Yeah.
technology is very low here.
So that used to be a benefit in the offshore world, in the maritime sector, and it's becoming less of a benefit. And we can get to that later when we get to transportation and stuff. But some of these third world and other locations where technology is lower, that's actually a huge benefit right now. Whereas the first world where tech is screaming out of organizations faster than we're securing them, it's not the best of situation.
So I
When
can
you
tell you
guys,
right now,
yeah,
God, commercial. So your first thing you said, stadiums. That's insane to me. So this malware as a service. I mean, you get into a stadium, you get into the Wi-Fi of a stadium or something. You get into oh my God, you have some capabilities right there. And
Yep.
yeah.
Bluetooth and card skimming, and
Mm-hmm.
there's quite a bit. And again, a few years ago, we had our malicious actors were a little more educated, where the defenders had to be very educated, and the people we're going up against were only modestly educated. They don't have to be educated at all. It's you just pay a couple bucks a month, and now you have your education in a box. Oh, good.
But I think on the flip side of that, Joseph, on the flip side of that, education in terms, I was reflecting earlier. I spent 32 years in the military, and I got really, some years it's like, okay, I gotta again for an hour of my life or whatever, the cybersecurity challenge. But as I sit now, 10 years post-military, and I look, and every year post-military, I still had to do the DoD cybersecurity challenge because I work in DoD programs. It's so ingrained in me now. I can recognize things in emails and social media posts, and every now and then I get with somebody and it's like, oh, well, something's off here, right? And so I got to take a step back and analyze things. But just education over and over and over, the writtenness of it, to get it ingrained in your employees, be able to spot those red flags in network activity or emails or social media content, online activity is so important, because I think we all would recognize that it may be less so as technology advances, but is the weakest link still is the human link.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Because our energy grid in the U.S. is constantly hit. Who would have the best insight right now out of this group to say what malware as a service would increase, or would it just kind of stay the same, as far as, because it's one of our heaviest hit sectors. I don't think personally it's going to change too much, but does anybody have any insight to that?
I think in terms of our energy sector, Joseph, our biggest threats out there are, if not nation state actors, funded by nation state actors. So I don't see necessarily malware as a service increasing that threat, while that threat is increasing malware as a service.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I'm at too. I don't think malware as a service really plays into it, because state actors are going to do what they do, and they're not out there using a bunch of these tools. It's more the criminal syndicates trying to increase their foot soldiers and whatnot. It's the state actors. I don't see them using it.
Yeah, I see it being more of an in-person attack, not a bit very easy to get in through, but not actually from a connected attack.
Okay, critical manufacturing. This, if we aren't familiar with this, critical manufacturing is the manufacturing of what we use to build our critical infrastructure up. This one we include transportation into because that's how we get, the rebar, the concrete, all that other stuff into where it needs to go. There's not many people that are using it for that, but we're getting into autonomous vessels, drone services, and things like that. Malware as a service is actually going to start playing into aerial takedowns, pirating on highway pirates and stuff like that. While we're not seeing that right now, what we talked about in my last episode was Walmart and other organizations have been testing and starting to use 18-wheelers, humanless 18-wheelers.
Not just that, but you go look in San Francisco, they're doing what I'm doing. They have a humanoid robotic part that is going to be. And so as soon as you get into that, you're talking about fully capable of controlling them, therefore attacks. I mean,
and
there's so many capabilities.
There's going to be a lot of uprising as jobs start shifting. I don't like using the term, people losing jobs, but jobs are going to shift.
It's bad. The way I look at it is I am developing something that is going to potentially ruin every job that's currently there. Therefore, I'm also the top 10 in quantum right there. So I'm pushing quantum into every university system so that the next generation can learn that side.
Yeah, it's going to shift jobs for sure. And people who aren't willing to change, then they may lose jobs. But
it's going to go to quantum and space.
So here's an interesting thought about the infrastructure you're talking about. You have an 18-wheeler that is autonomous, and someone uses the malware as a service to DDoS the command and control of that vehicle. So that now you have an out-of-control 18-wheeler. I'm not even talking taking
you have
control
a missile.
of it.
That's a missile right there.
Not even taking control of it, just actually blocking control of it.
Yeah.
So
no, that's actually some things we've talked about for almost a decade now in the maritime sector. There's serious shipping channels that could be. You don't even have to take one of the large companies' vessels. You can use a mom and pop vessel company.
So speaking of shipping, think about dropping the anchor on top of one of your internet lines.
Ooh, and drag across it.
Yeah.
Or take one of those.
Where have we seen that before?
Into the bigger ship.
Yeah, where have you seen that before?
I think we already talked commercial facilities. We can spin again.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so much bad stuff that people can do as hacktivists that they were never even hacktivists have more power now.
Right.
Yeah.
Than ever.
In a minute, they can make whatever the heck they want.
Yeah, and
Stuxnet.
Yeah,
you think I ran? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You think I ran for the opposite way? Exactly.
It hasn't been the target as large as pipelines and things like that. Unless it's just out of media and out of any of my research.
I would assume that maybe I would assume it's probably already controlled by the Chinese, based on anything you know about the telecommunication system. It's also infiltrated. So
they infiltrated the telecommunication system and then breached SCADA. So
yeah, right. So I'm sure they're in there. Which is scary.
There's I wish I could remember.
Begs the question of that begs the question of it is too much connectivity, right? Some of these systems, to your point earlier, Aaron, ought to be on-prem only and take them offline so you don't have that potential for remote malicious access.
I completely agree. What in that question? Sorry to interrupt you. What do you think about the air gapping things they're capable of doing now? How do you protect against those?
Air gapping
Yeah, that's a good
maliciously? 'Cause
question.
I've
You
always
can
used-
actually you can actually like you can detect some of the waves that are transmitting through the wires,
Emanation.
and therefore you're able to read. Yeah, so you're able to hack even air gap systems.
Yeah, we've been doing electrical emanation hacking for a while too. That's
Right. So how do you protect against that one?
good physical security.
Right.
I mean,
Underground. Or in space somewhere.
This is scary, and
This is
I
scary.
say that because your police, your ambulance chasers, and things like that. How many reporters? And I really hate to throw reporters under the bus, but we've got some pretty shady news outlets and things like that. But how many people are going to turn to malware as a service to, read police scanners that they're not able to, or ambulance signals and things like that they're locked out of, or just do some bad, like, the future is going to become more and more automated, which locks out a lot of people, and they want this instant scoop, this instant clickability. Are we going to start seeing people use malware as a service, maybe not intentionally malicious, but in order to gain profitability or clickability? I mean, do you guys see stuff like that as a potential in the next 2 or 3 years? Content
100%.
creators are going to be the front line of entertainment.
100%. 100%. They are already the front line of entertainment. I mean, look at YouTube. I mean, YouTube won this election for Donald Trump. So yeah, it's definitely.
How often do you see people live streaming police action?
Yeah.
If you had an AI that was able to crawl through YouTube and look for live video streams, they could easily feed that data to the people that are inside a house or that are being.
And if we're talking about a malware as a service, wouldn't it also be malicious psychologically to start doing a panic creating malware as a service?
That's actually a really scary one. Is so what about data poisoning? What about poisoning your AIs utilizing malware as a service? That's the scary one. You can manipulate literally the whole world.
Yeah, I know this.
From an emergency services perspective, think about automation in emergency dispatch systems. And if a malware as a service agent can get access and control an emergency dispatch system and route critical emergency services to the location or a bogus emergency, take them away from something that's really happening, or I think, to me, that's one of the scariest things in that sector.
Takes swatting to a whole new level.
Oh, swatting,
exactly.
Where someone, where they basically put out an APB, from this house, there are 50 people shooting at cops.
Yeah.
So they roll in
hot
and start firing. Yeah.
And it's not that we're trying to cause panic. It's just the point of the show is to bring awareness ahead of time, so that anybody watching this can be like, okay, maybe we do need to create this into a policy. Maybe we do need to think about this, because when the pandemic hit, end of 2019, early 2020, most companies didn't have that kind of thing in their policies and procedures to react to that. And I hope that companies are starting to think about these kind of things that we bring up and put policies and procedures into place, so that they don't react at the, have to deal with hindsight.
Yep.
Hey,
Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
Who wants to hack the economy? Let's hack the economy. Yeah, Mr. Robot for sure.
Show me the money.
The financial services sector, I think, while the energy sector may be one of the least impacted, by malware as a service, financial may be one of the top sectors, in my opinion, because we're not just talking about individuals, but we're talking about small banks and
You're
ATMs
talking
and
about
all sorts of
everything
things.
money.
Yeah,
And crypto.
in
Crypto as
crypto.
well.
Yeah, because
God,
we
Like
also have
like
crypto
just like
ATMs.
the repositories being hacked to get malware put into the little packages that everybody uses that nobody's maintaining, that all of a sudden look for crypto transactions happening in the web browser and steal it before anybody even knows.
And
That's been the
this is
latest.
true. And now, and then we're starting to get into the Web 3.0 of it, because you can steal identities and all sorts of other things, and then pivot back into the financial sector from the outside to the inside. It's scary because we invented encrypted technologies to protect us, and it's actually could be used against us in the same heartbeat.
We invented
That's
the
always the
encryption
catch-22.
to defeated, the thing that can beat. 100%.
And yeah, and it's still fresh. And I say that because malware as a service isn't so fresh, but it's the speed at which they're going to be creating. There's almost 400 different malware as a service packages as of now. Halfway through 2026, that could be in the thousands.
Minimum.
Well, and as a result of that, Joseph, it's estimated that even between 2023 and 2024, cyber attacks have increased about 25%. That's a huge increase year over year. And
so here's a question: what would you do to stop
don't
that?
do better.
How would you stop it?
Does anybody have a solution?
So I mean, so from a foreign affairs and a geopolitical standpoint, governments need. I mean, you got to go after this, right? And I understand it's hard because you got operate.
It has to be everything.
You know,
there's not enough.
Everything's on the table, but these guys are in the shadows. They're selling their. Oh, well, that guy's using it, but he didn't make it. So where's the guy that made it? And they're in the shadows, and governments around the world need to use every resource they have to go after these guys. And from white hat hackers to boots on the ground.
Yeah, the problem is a lot of these countries are protecting these people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Not going after them.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, there is that too.
No. Not just that.
It's like
just that. It's
watch the people in the United
impossible
States
to
who
find
figure out the people in India that are running these call centers. But it turns out that they have protection all the way up to the government. So they never actually get anything done, because when they get ready to raid, it's already been called in that it's going to be raided. And by the time they get to the place, it's empty.
Yeah, it's one of those impossible scenarios. We're gonna catch some people, we'll prosecute some people.
Yeah, they actually caught some people recently that were part of that new Uber elite hacking group. That was the combination of the three extortion groups. I can't think of the name of it right now, but they are prosecuting them. They're 19-year-old kids.
Yeah. Oh, that's the problem.
Lazarus?
They're children. Yeah, probably. So many of those damn groups.
Yeah. So we're moving into information technology, the IT sector of it all. And this is a great segue. It's almost perfect that we went from A to B, switching over to IT. This is going to be impossible.
Scattered Spider.
Scattered
was the group
Spider.
I was thinking of. Yeah.
We cyber people are burning out left and right, and how do we even keep the industry going?
Not just that, how do you, utilizing malware to inject malware into the next generation of software. So you're literally spreading it through your There's so many.
It's
But no, how do you protect it? That's, I mean,
we
even
have
with the best encryption.
Yes,
which I'm trying to remember which organization. I want to say DHS or maybe CISA. One of the top organizations we have created an a generative AI tool. I believe they use generative, maybe it's deep neural network that takes all the CVEs and just attacks with every CVE at the same. Just I haven't researched specifically how it works. I've only done surface research on it, but I mean that's something I had written a short paper about years and years ago, as I assumed it would be malware. That I assumed it'd be malicious actors doing it. I didn't realize that it would be our own, good guys using it to test systems. But that's that's an easy malware, um, and malware as a service tool that just sucks up all the CVEs as they're coming out and attacking all of our hardware, software networks just constantly. There's there's no there's no need to repent or repeal the actions. You just dump in a ton of IP addresses and click go.
Yep. Or
You
or
hit
just take
energy
Shodan, or
already.
just take an export of Shodan and run
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, cameras, garage doors, all kinds of crazy stuff. You can just start breaking hardware.
Yep.
Yeah, government services and facilities. I'm hoping nobody's stupid enough to try malware as a service kits to deal with this, because this is where I think people are going to get caught. These things aren't that good. Um, and I say that, but has anybody actually seen some of these things? They're going to trip people up into getting on their government phone and downloading an APK or something, thinking that they're
Right.
downloading good software, and it's actually a rat or something. And now they've got
so
somebody
that,
in
that,
their
that,
government phone.
that brings up a thought I had, Joseph. You're talking about tricking people into downloading a malicious application. And I was thinking about this yesterday. The operators of the major app stores, you know, what are they doing? Where does their ethical obligation test these apps and to analyze the code in these apps?
And honestly, I think it should be the phone provider themselves. I know Apple does a pretty good job, and while I'm not an Apple
So
person myself,
I'm not an Apple person either, but did you hear what they did with the latest processor that came out?
hmm,
It proactively blocks memory attacks.
oh wow,
Use after free buffer overflows will be not a thing on the new ARM processor.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
That seems like a
It's going
no-brainer.
to stop like 95% of all hack attacks, because that is where they usually start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be smart for. And I know Samsung and LG and a couple of other big ones should be able to do that no problem. But it's the smaller Android companies that are pushing out. I don't think it should be up to Google and the Play stores to be able to validate this, because people can, especially on Androids, you can go in and download APKs without dealing with the store. The
Yeah,
phones
you can
themselves should
sideload.
be able to say, "Hey, yeah, you have to validate this through a solid third party or something. You can't just pull something off the internet." But then again, the whole point of Android is that you get to take whatever risks you want. So
Yeah, but
Well, that
some
is a
I'd
risk
hate
smaller
to
when you're
take
dealing
businesses
with
that
don't
way.
realize the risk they're
when you're
taking.
dealing with an open source platform. It's less secure by nature.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah,
But
but that's a
but
risk
if
I
but
take.
if it at the hardware level, if you can protect people from like the buffer
Yeah,
overflows and that kind of thing, because there's no valid use for that. That is just a
no,
mistake in your code. There is no I use
yeah,
that to do this feature. No. The D has actually banned any memory, any non-memory safe language is going to be banned from use in the DoD.
Nice.
But
That's
that also
fantastic.
means it's going to destroy and kill a lot of
Maybe they came
applications that are
for-
currently used. But it is, I mean, it's for the best.
How's that going to
That
apply
just creates more opportunity.
to BYOD?
Yeah, that there's lots of BYOD changes the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
Started. I have a question. How rat malware can affect sector in general? Like, is it possible or not?
Yes. Yeah,
Well,
so if we're
absolutely.
talking 18-wheelers, so I'm glad you asked that question. 18-wheelers are going more autonomous, and while we still have people in them, we're looking to take people out of them. But what they're doing right now is they've got GPSs, they've got tons of cameras on some of these in the US. I don't know what we're doing in other parts of the world, but we've got command centers that are landlocked, that are stationary, and we've got so many different data flowing through. You have a rat that's in one of these systems. You can have a person that goes and starts making small data changes, and that can send information back to the command center.
Well, we
Or
haven't
even
even
modify
talked
the
about our
GPS coordinates.
air traffic control system.
Hmm.
That's another hour topic. Makes me think back to John McClane and when they crashed the airplanes by hacking into the air traffic control.
Mhm.
We've got you. We've got you. We've got you.
No. Communications, we barely talked about it. Okay. Um,
So, did you hear about the new thing they figured out about satellite communications?
which one are we talking?
The one where somebody decided to point one of those dishes up and capture the traffic that is going between the satellites.
No.
It is completely unencrypted.
Which layer? Are we talking high orbit to medium to high, or
We're talking all of it. They never thought they would need to encrypt the actual network traffic. And we're talking situations like,
Oh, that's scary.
say, no. So here's where it gets really bad. Imagine you have a cell tower out in the middle of nowhere, so they use a satellite uplink to transmit the phone calls back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's unencrypted.
Yeah.
In the middle,
Which means
attacks.
you can actually capture the voice calls.
Yeah, and you can replay that back. You can do that with Wireshark.
Exactly.
Exactly,
There's actually a project that shows you how to make it with $100 antenna, basically. And you can. There's DoD communications up there that's unencrypted. There's phone communications.
HBO.
There's
and
a lot
couple
of.
other ones, yeah.
There's a lot. Nuh-uh. So the satellite companies figured out, oh well, we really need to encrypt the video streams. The video streams are encrypted, but the actual data going across is not.
See, that's the part that's scarier to me. I'm not as scared about somebody being able to listen to my phone call as I am about somebody being able to critical national security data.
And that is also unencrypted up there, apparently. And you know what they're going to do about it? Nothing. It's too expensive because those satellites are super expensive and they're up there.
It is.
And
pretty
there's really nothing
expensive.
they can do about the communication between the two. I'll send you some information about this, Joe. I thought
that doesn't ring true to me. That
Yeah,
does not
because
ring true to me. I mean,
when you're working with,
they do updates to communication systems all the time. Remotely.
yeah, that's software.
Yeah, but from what I understand, the hardware can't support it. The hardware is not powerful enough to support the encryption, which is why they didn't do it to start. Yeah, it's bad. I'll send you some information about it, Joe.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate
We
that.
need to take Elon on that.
Now the new stuff, like Elon's stuff, is all encrypted. But
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah, but
it's the legacy stuff that's
that's
been up
low
there for
orbit.
20
That's stuff
years.
that's easy up, easy down.
Yeah,
That's why I was more
yeah.
concerned about the
This is the
medium to
high
high
orbit.
orbit.
They figured out how to boost the ability to capture the traffic from up higher and how to fill in the gaps basically.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. There's a software application that will help you rebuild the communications.
Yeah, because that goes TCP, UDP, 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 then to TCP. It's a weird, it's not just
Mhm.
TCP across. They make a lot of
It's
shortcuts.
because of the latency between the devices. Yeah.
It's actually really interesting when you get to it. I just didn't realize it was unencrypted. Because when I was working with
Yeah.
Yeah.
decoding that, but that was years ago. Because I thought HBO was unencrypted back then.
It
Maybe it
was.
was.
It
Okay.
was. So to save their bacon on, the video streaming, because everybody got those satellite dishes with the little hack box
Mhm.
that they
Yeah.
could pull it down, so they had to do that.
Okay, that makes sense. But okay. Yeah, that's definitely going to be a weekend project.
Yeah, I totally want to build one.
So malware as a service, as we get into the DoD and defense industrial base, this is complicated in the cyber side. There's I mean, it's already a very complex space. It's a very complex landscape. So I think I would like to focus on the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and marines, and even the coasties, as malware as a service targets them, because at the higher level, we've got layers on layers of security. How do we think we should start focusing on the human aspect of it?
Yeah, I made earlier, Joseph, is just the criticality of training, and even with social media. I mean, you see all these guys, they're posting on TikTok, they're posting on Instagram, and maybe without even thinking, their spouse or their child or their parent is posting on one of those platforms without even thinking about they're giving up sensitive mission data. And then when you look across, I think malware as a service, when you think about when you look across the social media landscape and you start looking at thousands or hundreds of thousands of service members' accounts and their family members' accounts, and you start to be able to aggregate data, then you've got a real problem. And we're not even talking about your typical cybersecurity attacks where they're trying to get your financial data, your account numbers, right? We're talking about national security implications here.
That's you just sparked something in my head. So every base has a little thrift store application. They have little unique applications for that base that spouses like to get onto that you may not find on Google Play or something like that. That becomes a risk factor because you can be from Russia and create a very easy target for a new spouse, a new mill spouse to click on a website or something that looks like it's made for that base, for that area. And now you've just got some information. Now you've just got a new entity. And you can create fake accounts on this and generate it to where this mill spouse may think they're engaging with a whole community, and it's just a malicious platform that they're the only live person on. Yeah, that's I didn't even realize that somebody could go there and use them and use that as targets. That you brought up that's something that needs to be trained on, and not just soldiers, not just our military, but our military spouses and children. They need to start being trained on this.
Yeah, and we do. We do
We
a great
jumped.
job of training our service members on cybersecurity, on social media awareness, and things like that. But that's got to filter out to their families
Definitely.
because aggregation. If you get too many people posting one little data about this operation, or and you can build an application that can filter of social media posts and start to aggregate data, that becomes
And
a
if you think a
serious
10 or 11-year-old kid isn't listening to mom and dad, and they're not going on to apps and stuff too, then you're missing a critical piece.
I just want to add something about what you said, Joe. I used to talk with a malware developer and how he shared screenshots of a kid watching YouTube, and I told him that he did it, and he told me that, you know, and it was really nothing secure actually.
No.
No.
Yeah, I know. My 9-year-old, even we can block her from everything, and she'll still find a way to get into it. Like if she wants to watch her YouTube shows, she'll figure it out.
Yeah, the speed at which young children are picking up technology continues to advance. I mean, they've grown up with it. They've got a cell phone or some type of, even if it's only got games on it, they've got some type of electronic device in their hand at 2 years old, 3 years old.
Yes.
And it's becoming second nature.
Yeah, I think we're about to talk over healthcare and public health. It's a shame we're about to miss this. This would be a really good topic to get into. I walk into a doctor's office most days and their system's just wide open as it is.
Yep.
I don't know if it's like that
Yep,
for
I agree,
everybody, but I mean, if I was a bad person, I could do bad things. And
Small mom and pop shops, a lot of times, like in the healthcare industry, but they're, one or two doctors, use a SBC Global account, which is actually hosted on Yahoo. I have conversations with them about HIPAA a lot.
yeah,
It's like, you do understand that if any of that data is compromised out of your account, you're done.
Really not named very good because zero trust has nothing to do with trust.
yeah.
Right.
Which is the point, I guess.
You can just go to the USP and spread the malware everywhere. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
It's
they don't.
easy,
That's not even blocked.
Well,
And
that's what I see in is not so much that they've got passwords, they've got PKI cards, things like that. But that box is still sitting on the counter while you're sitting in the room for half an hour waiting for the doctor.
Yep.
And that's
no physical.
Now someplace like Kaiser, if you plug a USB drive in, it's going to set off bells.
yeah.
But if you plug it in the rural hospital,
Well, you can plug an Arduino USB in and not set off anything because the computer thinks it's a keyboard or a mouse.
that's true.
So it just depends on what kind of USB you're doing. But this is where malware as a service really comes into play, because you can get a kit that will have everything set up for you to where you can bypass the lack of knowledge.
Yeah, get a rubber ducky or something like that in there. And the interesting thing is we're talking about malware as a service, but the service doesn't necessarily have to be something that is online. It could be where people are buying kits, like you said, and then they are the ones that are physically going in and putting in the exploit. Yeah.
So food and agricultural sector, this gets bad. It links to transportation and so many other things.
It does. I used to work for in the agricultural sector in IT. And I was working at places that didn't even have restricted access to areas where somebody could get access to the food that was being packaged. So again, without physical security, you have no security.
Yeah, and that's gonna be one of the mantras. I know we kind of moved away from it in the security side. Kinetic was less, but it's going to be more. They're gonna have to start paying physical security people, and really start. I hate saying this, but cybersecurity roles are gonna have to start getting paid less, and physical is gonna have to get paid a little more as we start moving into the future. I know
as the cyber gets harder, they will find other avenues.
Yeah, that's how it's always.
So
That's how it
we,
always is, and
Yeah.
it's always will be.
You build a mousetrap and they'll make a smarter
Yeah.
mouse.
yeah, so in the food and agriculture sector too, and I'm going to take it back to the in-cab technology and tractors and things like that. And then you also consider computer automation systems for major corporate farms, and you know, fertilizers, grain side. I mean, it's endless.
Yeah, hacktivists are gonna have a field day when this actually starts being less. When you have so many hacktivists available and malware as a service is so easy to access, then we're gonna have more and more autonomous tractors that are gonna go and just millions of dollars. And it's not just for a laugh; it's the water and wastewater sector. I don't think they have too much to worry about. I think it falls. It's kind of like the energy sector. I just don't see a whole bunch of people using malware as a service to really mess with water and wastewater. I think that we kind of glossed over
Yeah.
dams as well.
Your SCADA systems
Yeah, I think
are
those sectors you're looking more
are
at
the
physical
target,
security
but there
concerns.
are a lot of food systems that don't use SCADA. They use just straight TCP/IP,
Hmm.
and that's going to be where your problem is. Have you ever looked at ladder logic, which is what they use
Yeah.
for like how they automate how food is made? If you were to make one small change in there, you could blow up an entire plant.
Yeah, and we're talking about
Very
everything.
easily.
PLCs are in
Yeah,
everything.
PLCs. That's what I'm talking about. And I worked on PLCs, and I decided that was not something I wanted to do because it was such a fear that I would make one small change and ruin $5 million of product in 2 minutes.
And
So,
that's valid.
yeah.
For my benefit and for listeners who don't know what a PLC is, can we define?
Sure. PLC is a
Programmable
programmable logic controller.
Yeah.
It's basically what they use in a manufacturing plant or something like that to control the mechanics of the devices that are making the food, like opening a valve, closing a valve, sending food from one location to another, all the little intricate movements that are done by all the machines
Yeah.
are
It's
all
it
controlled
uses
by those little servos and mechanics.
Yeah. They use fairly simple programming. Often it's called often it uses ladder logic, which goes down little checks and balances, and then it goes right back to the top, and it just does that over and over and over and over. Pretty simple little computers, and we use them in everything: conveyor belts to check to valves and every. I mean, you look at anything that does anything, and there's going to be a PLC somewhere on it.
Yeah, and it's literally just on or off in most cases. On, you make the servo activate. Off, you make it retract, and that does all the movements
Great. So
throughout the system.
The acronym just didn't click with me at first.
Oh, that's
Understood.
fair. Most people don't even know they exist.
No.
And it's again, this is what the show is here for. I wanna bring IT awareness to OT people and OT awareness to IT people. I wanna crosstalk because the world is getting scarier by the day. I think we finished the wheel, right? That's awesome. We want to switch over to postmortem, and we'll wrap the show up. That went way long, but I think it was a really good discussion. We had some pretty good topics.
And I put the SATCOM paper in the private
Yeah, I
chat.
saw that link. We're gonna put that when we share the video. All right, so like I was saying, I thought that was a fantastic conversation. We talked about as much that we could possibly talk about quickly, and there's so much we could have kept talking about. We glossed over dams, we glossed over energy, and we glossed over water and wastewater. And I'm kind of glad we did because it let us talk about some other sectors a little bit longer. And as far as malware as a service goes, I just don't see those three sectors really being impacted. I don't see a whole bunch of people. I don't see a bunch of teenagers out there going, let me mess with sewage. I just don't see it. But y'all's thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'm with you, Joseph. I see those sectors as particularly water and wastewater as vulnerable to physical threats than virtual threats.
Yes. But again, I mean, all it takes is somebody to get into the system and, spin up one of the water processing units, and all of a sudden you've knocked out the water for an entire area. I mean, it might be. Right now, I don't see it, but as things progress and as they get deeper and deeper into worrying about being able to knock out our critical infrastructures, I think it will become a target.
Yeah,
And again, and the problem is it's going to be an easy target.
it will, and that's the issue right now. Is these things are more, especially water and wastewater, they're more susceptible to the people that work there than to any outside attackers. But
Yep.
the harder we make other targets, the more these weak targets become a target.
Yep, softer targets are easier.
Yeah. I thought this went fantastic. It was a little chaotic, but I thought it created some really good dialogue. I would like to take a lot of this dialogue to LinkedIn and YouTube and to the comment section, and then back to the Discord server, the Cubic Quorum Discord server. We have quite a bit of people there. I think we're gonna continue some of these conversations, and hopefully, people bring these back to their companies and say, "Oh wow, I didn't think about this, and this is a policy or a procedure we may need to start talking about creating." Because
before you even have to throw money at something, just
yeah,
figure out how you can put policies and procedures to catch somebody that might be trying to do this without even spending a whole bunch of money putting in, like a physical security system. Just that, hey, people in this area need to look for people who aren't supposed to be here and need to run it up the chain when they see them.
definitely.
Start small.
See something, something.
Exactly.
Yeah, and awareness is a big key. If we're not thinking about future threats and future possibilities, not that we're sitting here trying to scare people, but these are possibilities. Malware as a service isn't new, but it has a new engine, and that engine being generative AI. Yes.
Hey, Joseph, I got a quick comment. I wanted to go back. I talked earlier about the dangers of media with regard to national security. And it occurs to me as I've thought about that string of conversation, the same thing really applies in industry, in terms of, industrial espionage and what is sharing about their company, about their work, about their business on social media platforms too. So it's really a lot broader than I at first was.
Well, here's one to think about too. Everyone has these new AI glasses. They have the recorders where they are recording meetings and those sort of things. But what a lot of people don't realize is when it generates that text about your meeting, it grabbed all that information. But if there are people around you in the background, it also recorded all that information. It may not show it on the screen, but that information is now in that recording. And if someone gets a hold of those recordings, maybe you've got someone who is calling up a healthcare provider and they're giving their social security number, they're giving all the information they need, and just happen to pick it up on that microphone. And now it is stored for somebody to extract later.
What gets me is I've talked about this for years. Once we started doing the facial recognition on phones and people have their phones out, those phones have been recording just everywhere you're walking. They're recording everything all the time. And
Right.
just because you're not seeing it doesn't mean it's not going to a database somewhere.
Right.
and we've always just been cool with it. Most people, I guess. But you can't do anything.
I'm going to say I used to fight it. I have the little box, and I'm not going to say her name on my desk right now, but I was like, I'm not going to get one of those. And then I realized, wait, everywhere I go, I have this thing. What's the difference? Why not take advantage of the tech since it's taking advantage of me already?
Yeah, that was my stance in the very beginning. It's like, yeah, I'm not cool with this. But now we're at the point where there's so much data, there's so much getting pulled in, it doesn't even matter. They're gonna have to aggregate too much. And with generative AI, I know it looks intelligent, but most of that stuff is garbage.
No. And what's interesting is it's poisoning itself. For one, they let it read Reddit.
Yeah.
And that was the end of it right there. But as AIs generate more garbage and start to suck in that garbage, it's going to start to dilute their abilities.
Yeah, and we get that. Yep. I've made a lot of posts about this, and next week I'm gonna have people on that are anti-Gen AI, and we're gonna have a really cool show that I don't want to say we're bashing Gen AI. I'm gonna try to talk positively about it, but we hope to bring awareness to people who heavily use generative artificial intelligence, because to kind of show that it's not intelligent.
No. I'll have to send you this screenshot that I have. It's a great meme. It's got a guy who texts one of the LLMs and says, "Hey, can you tell me if this mushroom is poisonous?" And it says, "Oh, that is safe to eat." And then it shows in the next screen, it's got the tombstone. And someone says, "Hey, are you sure?" And it says, "Oh, I'm sorry. No, that one really is poisonous."
And that actually sounds like 20 or 30 different conversations I've had when we tested AI. You have access to you're in the Qubit Core Discord server. We have labs, and we used to have a lot more labs. And that's what we used to do from 2022 until 24. We would just break apart different LLMs. And we would test their capacities. We were ahead of this stuff before it started getting really mainstream, and we tried to put out to people, but we just kind of gave up, especially in 2025. It's like it's pointless. It's pointless to really try.
Yeah.
To talk about it, because everybody's an expert, and what the hell do you know? So just go about your business.
When most people don't realize, most people don't realize is that LLMs train, they're not self-perpetuating.
No.
You've got to continually be feeding it information and data for it to grow and learn new things.
And Riad, this is a big reason why I keep suggesting Olama and Nut Studio and stuff like that, because you're going to be the only person to poison your model.
I tried Olama once I tried it, but my machine was weak, like really too much. It couldn't run DeepSeek.
Oh, okay.
One DeepSeek core.
They have smaller ones. I can work you. Yeah, I can help you with that. We can work on that kind of. But we went way over a couple of topics, so I think we'll just say goodbye to everybody and call it a day.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks for having
me on.
Yeah, I had a pleasure having you guys on. It was a fantastic show. We talked about malware as a service as much as we could.
No, but we had a lot of topics about it. I mean, we could have, if we deep dove anything, we could have, spent another hour per topic. But
I'm sure just transportation alone.
Yeah.
We could have just talked 18-wheelers and malware as a service, because we didn't even start to get into truck stop bunnies and stuff like that, because they're going to be targeted. They're going to be huge. There's just so much we can go into. It's ridiculous.
Oh yeah, they could, while they're in there, just slip that USB drive into the open port.
It's going to be bad. The future. anyways,
We've seen this future in movies. It's going to be
we
interesting.
have, and I think our future is going to be one weird conglomeration of movies we've already watched.
Yeah, I just hope maybe not a few of them.
Yeah, some of them are pretty scary. Yeah, it was a pleasure having you guys on. I'll see you guys on LinkedIn or on our Discord server, and talk to y'all in the future.